Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift. Happy hump day to you. It's another Real Talk Wednesday right here on the night shift with me, DJ Kevin Stew. True. I want to say good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you wherever you are in the world, all those who have it locked. Welcome to the night shift. Tonight on Real Talk, we're gonna touch on a subject, a topic area that we recognize but at the same time often overlook. Yeah. Kind of one of those things that makes you think twice sometimes about what you're doing or what is happening around you. Stay tuned. Stick and stay. Bring in a friend. We're talking about fatherlessness tonight. This is on a Destra. The track is called Family. Welcome to the guest in the chat room. KevinStew.com. I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment. When being in the moment is priceless. You want to give Pulse Media Group a call. 754-999-6020. They make things like this that you're watching right now happen. They can also capture your event. I'll provide you the means to stream your event live securely. When you call them, just call my name, yeah? Tell them I sent you. Isn't it always good to have that glue?
But we started from the ground, that's why I'm holding on to you to keep from falling. I feel deep pressure
No, ladies, not that glue.
inside me. I'm holding on for you. Don't keep me waiting when the tension rises. You are my focus, family.
Not saying anything is wrong with that glue.
Make me feel this way, feel this way.
But when you have that glue that holds that family together, you recognize it.
Start to play, yeah.
And you respect the impact it has.
Up inside me, I'm holding on for you.
Yeah, I'm holding on too. So those of you who saw my post on social media about what the show tonight is about, some of you have responded, reacted to the post, but I don't see anybody actually commenting on it, and that's okay. Let me double check one last time to see if anybody responded other than by way of here we go. I have one comment. Oh, that wasn't it. All right, so so yeah, we're talking about fatherlessness, and in my research, I came across some statistics of the fatherless generation, and that's the site that put out this statistic, the fatherless generation. And on it they said 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. And that's like 5 times the average. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. 32 times the average. 85% of all children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. That's 20 times the average, that's according to the CDC. 80% of rapists with anger problems come from fatherless homes, according to the Justice and Behavior, volume 14, and you can even find the page 403, check line 26. That's 14 times the average. 71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. That's 9 times the average, according to the National Principals Association report. And what is the father factor when it comes to education? They say fatherless children are twice as likely to drop out of school. Children with fathers who are involved are 40% less likely to repeat a grade in school. Children with fathers who are involved are 70% less likely to drop out of school. Children with fathers who are involved are more likely to get A's in school. Children with fathers who are involved are more likely to enjoy school and engage in extracurricular activities. 75% of all adolescent patients in chemical abuse centers come from fatherless homes. Wow. Now, researchers at Columbia University found that children living in two-parent households with a poor relationship with their father are 68% more likely to smoke, drink, or use drugs compared to all teens in two-parent households. Teens in single mother households are at a 30% higher risk than those who are in two-parent households. 70% of youth in state-operated institutions come from fatherless homes. And 85% of all youth in prison come from fatherless homes. So, even after controlling for income, youths in father absent households still had significantly higher odds of incarceration than those in mother-father families. Youths who never had a father in the household experienced the highest odds. In a 2002 Department of Justice survey of 7,000 inmates, it revealed that 39% of jail inmates lived in a mother-only household. Approximately 46% of jail inmates in 2002 had a previously incarcerated family member. 1/5 experienced a father in prison or jail. A study of 109 juvenile offenders indicated that family structure significantly predicts delinquency. Adolescents, particularly boys in single parent families, were at higher risk of status, property, and person delinquencies. Moreover, students attending schools with a high proportion of children of single parents are also at risk. A study of 13,986 women in prison showed that more than half grew up without their father. 42% grew up in a single mother household, and 16% lived with neither parent. Compared to living with both parents, living in a single parent home doubles the risk that a child will suffer physical, emotional, or educational neglect. The overall rate of child abuse and neglect in single parent households is 27.3 children per 1,000, whereas the rate of overall maltreatment in two parent households is 15.5 per 1,000. Now, daughters of single parents without a father, they are 53% more likely to marry as teenagers, 711% more likely to have children as teenagers, 164% more likely to have premarital birth, and 92% more likely to get divorced themselves. Those are daughters of single parents without a father that is involved. Adolescent girls raised in a two-parent home with involved fathers are significantly less likely to be sexually active than girls raised without involved fathers. 43% of US children live without their father. 90% of homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. 80% of rapists motivated with displaced anger come from fatherless homes. 71% of pregnant teenagers do not have a father. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. 85% of children who exhibit behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes. 90% of adolescents repeat arsonists live with their mother. So, the majority of adolescent repeat arsonists live with their mother. That's crazy. 71% of high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. 75% of adolescent parents in chemical abuse centers come from fatherless homes. 70% of juveniles in state-operated institutions have no father. 85% of youths in prison grew up in a fatherless home. Fatherless boys and girls are twice as likely to drop out of high school, twice as likely to end up in jail, 4 times more likely to need help for emotional or behavioral problems. Those are some scary statistics. But yet still, more and more, we find fatherless homes. 64.3 million estimated number of fathers across the nation. 26.5 million the number of fathers who are part of married couple families with their own children under the age of 18. Now, among these fathers, 22% are raising 3 or more children of their own under 18 years old. And that's among married couple family households only. 2% live in the home of a relative or a non-relative. 2.5 million is the number of single fathers, up from 400,000 in 1970. And that's among single parents living with their children. And in that, 18% are men. Now, among these fathers, 8% are raising 3 or more of their own children under 18. 42% are divorced. 32% have never married. 16% are separated and 4% are widowed. The percentages of those divorced and never married, those are not significantly different from each other. 42% and 38%. That's not a big difference. 85% are among the 30.2 million fathers living with children younger than 18, the percentage of who lived with their biological children only. 11% lived with stepchildren, 4% with adopted children, and 1% with foster children. Does that sound crazy? Well, what it definitely is real. Not crazy, just real. These are real statistics. And so we end up with what? We end up with a broken nation. We end up with young boys and girls losing their way and struggling to find it. Children involved, loving fathers are significantly more likely to do well in school, have healthy self-esteem, exhibit empathy and pro-social behavior, and avoid high-risk behaviors such as drug use, truancy, and criminal activity compared to children who have uninvolved fathers. Studies on parent-child relationships and child well-being show that father love is an important factor in predicting the social, emotional, and cognitive development and functioning of children and young adults. Now, when you take something like that into consideration, how is it that people could want to keep children away from fathers? whether it is to remove that father by way of incarceration, just by way of targeting, or by way of the other parent or grandparents, just because they don't like that father, to keep that father away from that child or children, as the case may be. Is it that nobody knows this kind of information? Nobody thinks about this kind of information, or emphasis is not placed on this kind of information? Except round about Father's Day. But then again, at Father's Day, or around the time of Father's Day, that's not the focus. The focus is getting daddy something. Children who live absent from their biological fathers are on average at least 2 to 3 times more likely to be poor, use drugs, to experience educational, health, emotional, and behavioral problems, to be victims of child abuse, and engage in criminal behavior than their peers who live with married, biological, or adoptive parents. That's a hard statistic to deal with. About 40% of children in father-absent homes have not seen their father at all during the past year. 26% of absent fathers live in a different state than their children. 50% of children living absent from their father have never set foot in their father's home. Question to ask when looking at information like that is why? Is it that the father doesn't want them? Or are they being told that the father doesn't want them and they're being kept away from that father? You see, some of these statistics are really interesting, and they seem quite sensational. But when you think about them, do you think past the initial introduction of it? Do you look beyond the surface of the information? Are there questions asked, like the why and the how? Why haven't these children seen the insides of these houses? Why have these fathers not seen their children in a year, at least? Or how is that even possible? Maybe even who is the cause of that? Some questions that some people ask, but not everybody. There is a self-taught expert in human behavior that goes by the name of Michael Kismet, and he wrote an article on the psychological effects of growing up without a father. And I'm going to share information from that article with you when we come back from this break. Again, I want to thank Policy Media Group for sponsoring this segment. When being in a moment is priceless, these are the people that you want to contact. When you contact them, go ahead, call my name. They even have this really cool advertising feature called Ad Share. Don't know about it? As we go for this commercial break, pay attention. You might learn something that is quite useful to you. We'll be right back after these messages.
Policy Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
Club of Greater Sunrise in Broward presents the 3rd annual scholarship fundraising event, Moments in Time. This year, it's a Father's Day edition. A dinner dance with live entertainment featuring Scotch Bonnet Band, the comedic stylings of Reverend St. Hope, fashion show put on by Simply Tea Fashion and Harold's Fine Fashion, hosted by me, Sir Rockwell, taking place on Sunday, June 17th at the Banquet Hall, 8062 West McNabb Road in North Lauderdale, in the Broward Meat Plaza. Doors open at 4 p.m. Showtime 5 p.m. sharp. Dinner served at 6 p.m. For ticket information, call 754-304-8135 or 954-627-4354 or purchase your ticket online at eventbrite.com. Pre-sold tickets $55, $65 at the door. Children's and table prices available. So come celebrate the father in your life on Sunday, June 17th at the Banquet Hall, 8062 West McNabb Road. Brought to you by the Kiwanis Club of Greater Sunrise in Broward. Sponsored by Baird Case, Vision Electric, The Lady Song Show, and RockTheBox.net.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there. We know how it feels. So we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management, and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
We're off to an early start for a long hot summer, but beat the heat with a dash of lemongrass refresher. This cool thirst quencher is a low sugar beverage made from the fevergrass plant, which has antioxidants, several wellness properties, and is a great lifestyle drink for all ages. Ah, that hits the spot. It's a new great taste. Have one today. Dash Lemongrass Refresher, distributed by Carib Atlantic Distributors. Call 954-614-0919. That's 954-614-0919. Life's a dash. Live well.
I'm making notes right now. You are locked in to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
Boy, my father says yes, 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 yes. My father says show love unto all of my children. Oh, oh yes, my father say, my father say, my father say yes, 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 my children. Oh yeah, show love my children, show love my children. Oh, my father say, my father say, my father say yes unto my children. Love no other one but me. Love no other one but me. We can't walk in peace anymore. Pure innocent blood mercy for him. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Why is the poor man suffering? I say stop life train. I want to get on. This world is too crazy for me. Oh, my father say, my father say, my father say, yes, 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 my children. Love no other one but me. Love no other one but me. Oh, my father say, my father say, my father say, yes, 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 yes. Love my children. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, my father, Lord, heart is iron, yeah, 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 yeah. Protect me from all those evilous ones. I get a vision, yes, from our Father, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sing this song and bring for purification. Oh, my Father say, my Father say, my Father say, yes, 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 yes. Oh, my children, she love my children. Oh, my father say, my father say, my father say, yes, 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 yes. Love no other one but me. Love no other one but me. Oh, my father say, my father see. Oh, my father see, my father say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Love no other one but me. Oh, my father say, my father say, my father say, my father say, my father say. Oh, I'm gonna sing. Oh, I'm gonna shout. I'm gonna praise my Father anywhere I'm about. Because of the Almighty, He sent a shower of blessing rain on me to solve this iniquity.
Want to welcome you back to the show.
To what I'm saying.
For those of you just tuning in, greetings and salutations.
When the rain start fall, everyone start to run.
Happy hump day to you. It's Real Talk Wednesday. And tonight we're looking at fatherlessness. Numbers to call, numbers to text to get in touch. 773-789-STEW. 773-789-7839.
Oh, my father say, my father say. Oh, my father say, my father say.
And of course you can jump on in the chat room on kevinstew.com.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said before we went on a commercial break, Michael Kismet is a self-taught expert in human behavior. And he was saying, hey, listen, I grew up without a father. And unfortunately, I have personally experienced many of the psychological consequences that was mentioned in an article that was about the psychological ramifications of growing up fatherless. When he said, when I was finished reading about the studies on fatherless sons, it completely altered my state of mind. Growing up without a father could permanently alter the structure of the brain, was a statement that he found quite alarming in that article. Permanently alter. He says, I already knew that children from single parent families tend to have more difficulties in life. But hearing it framed with those particular words was devastating for him. So he says, this is what I learned about the likely psychological effects of growing up without a father. You're more likely to be aggressive. Psychological studies show that children growing up without fathers are more likely to be aggressive and quicker to anger. Michael says, I've always had a copious amount of anger. Not just loud anger, but quiet anger as well. For me personally, he says, quiet anger is more insidious and volatile. Silent anger doesn't have a proper release valve. It just builds up like a growing monster, maturing right along with you. He said, I've spent nearly all my life containing myself because I know it isn't particularly productive or acceptable to be outwardly angry. Anger makes you think and act with stupidity, and that's just a bad way to release energy. Additionally, he says, I have a greater chance of passing on my aggression to my children. Now, I am forced to consider this if I ever decide to have a family. He says, do I really want to have children that are aggressive and prone to anger? Who does? Would I be doing the planet a favor just by letting it end with me? We all want to think or believe that we're in full control of our actions and goals, but the question is, are we really? How many people think that or recognize that they have this anger within them? And when they think of letting it end with them, it is just really thinking about letting it end. As in stopping it right there. Calling it quits. Yeah, I'm talking about suicide. He says, teens growing up without a father are more susceptible to emotional distress. This is a hard subject for me to discuss because it forces me to recall very dark times in my life. Michael goes on to say, I get bouts of depression that just seem to permeate every aspect of my life. My natural introversion magnifies the sense that I am alone in the world and that no one can possibly understand what I'm feeling. Thankfully, I've always managed to pull through these bouts of depression. I attribute this to the ongoing support of my friends and their unrelenting efforts to help me restore balance to my life. I also remember high school teachers and college professors who went out of their way to urge me to apply myself and do better. In many ways, life is a team sport. Don't be afraid to lean on your teammates for emotional support and reassurance. I can speak of my experience, and I can say that there are times when I was growing up. My father wasn't there either. And there were times when I was really that antisocial person. I was going to say bird, but that antisocial person. Where I would have episodes of depression. But somewhere, along the line, there was something that made me a happier person. Happier than those that we talked about in the first segment of the show, that were part of these statistics. The violent ones, the criminal ones. There was just something, and personally, I would attribute that to people that care. I would attribute it to church, music, And yeah, music played a big part in it for me. And so I looking through and looking at some of these statistics, I'm like, geez, I fall into a category of some very unique people, because based on these statistics, I should be somewhere else doing something else in a different state of mind. And maybe I'm going to have to look deeper to find out what was so different about me. But we go back to Michael. Michael says teens growing up without a father are more susceptible to emotional distress. Yeah. Because that little something that maybe their friends that have their fathers with them talk about, they can't relate to it. So now there's that little bit of alienated feeling, maybe. The psychological effects of growing up without a father can lead to self-esteem issues. Michael says, over the course of my life, I've had very few conversations with my father. I always believed there must be a reason why my father wasn't there for me. I was introverted, and I never really opened up myself to others. I could never be myself with my friends or anyone in my social circle. I always carried the feeling that I was damaged or unwanted. Yet, I was lucky. I made healthy friendships that exposed me to a lot of positivity and optimism. For a teen looking forward to college, I was also fortunate that I never had trouble dating. The women I've dated and had steady relationships with have taught me a lot about how to be a gentleman and how to treat a woman with the utmost respect. Today, I feel good about myself. I'm content with being perfect. Concurrent psychological effects have a way of compounding one another. The key is to be more self-aware and battle your demons head on. Personally, at some point in time in my teen journey, I recognized something called self-worth. And again, at the time, I didn't really know where it came from. But something pushed me to push through. Growing up without a father can affect your education. During high school, Michael did just enough to get by and get into a decent college. Something I can relate to. I'm embarrassed to say that so far I've dropped out of 2 colleges due to lack of effort and motivation. I've never felt good about this. I've robbed my mother of the pride and happiness of seeing her eldest son walk across a stage with a college degree. I can't go back and make things right, but I hope one day I'll be able to achieve some success that will give my mother some assurance of my worth as a son. The negative psychological effects of being raised in a one-parent household can hold you back in life, but you still have a choice. You can sink or you can swim. But who gets to make that choice? Right. You're the only one who can make that choice. Nobody can make that for you. So you end up doing what? And doing it how? They say fatherless children are more likely to turn to drugs. In Michael's case, he battled several addictions. He says, my mother was justifiably busy holding down a job that supported the entire household. I would never portray my mother as a negative light. She loves her children, and she did the best she could. My two older sisters were preoccupied with their college studies. I was pretty much left to my own devices as a teenager. I always had a circle of friends who were much older than me. Whatever they did, I did. They got tattoos, I got tattoos. Suffice to say, the things they chose to do to pass the time, I ultimately partook in as well. Does this sound like anybody that is tuned in right now? Have you been going through any of these things? I encourage you to share. 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839, or jump into the chat room, kevinstew.com. Now, even with all this, Michael says, you might be interested to know, today I am as sober as a priest. I was able to pull myself out of the tailspin, and realizing this fact gives me hope that I can overcome other hurdles in my life as well. Knowing that I have that inner strength means everything to me. It means I can in good faith declare that there is hope for me. You see, again, Michael recognized some self-worth. Now, I have friends who got tattoos. I don't have any. And I didn't do drugs. So, again, I defy this statistic, but also, I didn't grow up in the US. So maybe growing up in Jamaica, it's different. Maybe, just maybe. Even when factors such as income, race, and parent involvement were held constant, fatherless children, especially boys, are twice as likely to wind up in prison. Now, I'm not going to say that I haven't had instances where I could have done something dumb to land me in prison. Just acting off impulse or emotion. But something back then, in that foundation that was laid, that kept me going and kept me sober, for a better use of words. Michael says this is an alarming statistic, yet it makes sense. They're more prone to aggression. People who know me know that I'm calm. Why am I comparing myself with this? Well, because I grew up without a father, which I'm only doing it to show that, yeah, there are these statistics, and these statistics are real statistics. But if you fall into the category of these statistics, you can get out. And that's what Michael is proving also. Given the tendencies that children that grew up in fatherless homes are more prone to aggression and they're more likely to drop out of high school, it's not hard to see how they can lead to higher levels of incarceration. One of the most unnerving statistics, Michael says, is that nearly 65% of youth suicides are associated with fatherless homes. Growing up without knowing my own father, there is no question for me that children who grew up in fatherless homes are at much greater risk for depression and, unfortunately, suicide. Now, I've had a moment or two where I've said, you know what, I'd be better off ending all of this. But maybe it was the fact that I was a coward, or maybe it's the fact that I was smart. I'm still here today. It doesn't mean that I failed. It just means that I made better choices. So Michael says, through his father's absence, he has learned that life is not fair. There are no guarantees that we will attain anything, achieve anything, or be loved by anyone. No matter what predispositions we're born with, or what psychological effects may be associated with our childhood experiences, we are the ultimate forgers of our destiny. Michael says, I believe I can overcome the disadvantages of growing up without a father. And that was something I had to believe. I have to believe that I can still determine my future. And I agree. I totally agree with Michael Kismet. Because we are the ones who make the decisions on what we're going to do, whether we're going to be aggressive. Well, maybe not so much. Sometimes it just that short fuse. And it takes a little bit more effort to temper that short fuse. But it can be done. And we who have grown up fatherless, some of us are proof. Walking, talking, living proof. I am. That it can be done, and we can be positive influences in the lives of others, even our own. The unfortunate thing is, sometimes it seems cyclical, because one was fatherless, that theirs end up being fatherless. You know what? It could be quite circumstantial. But it exists. So, what do? We try to make the most of it. We push through. We look for the positivity in ourselves and others, and look for the best company to keep. That's what I think. 4 minutes to the top of the hour. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. kevinstew.com is the site with the chat room. You can also hit me up on Skype, kevin.stew. Let's talk. We have another half an hour before we get into our musical therapy. I want to thank GMAC Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show. They bring music to life. So you have a live event. Doesn't even have to be a musical event, but the equipment is the same. You get engineers. You want stage lighting. Call GMAC Music Solutions. They can hook you up, and they will. And when you call them, tell them you heard about them on my show. 754-307-4622 is the number to use. How do you remember that? 307 GMAC. 754 is the area code. You got that? Cool. I hope you wrote it down. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick little break. Come back and talk some more. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
TMC Music presents the highly anticipated, much talked about, The Juggling Rhythm Volume 1. This classic rhythm takes on a new life with tracks from both established artists and introduces some incredible new voices. Get your dancing shoes ready with The Juggling Rhythm, featuring international reggae dancehall artist Mr. Vegas, alongside Ian Sweetness, Ed Robinson, Jack Radix, Hezron, Dangling, Joanna Marie featuring Galaxy P, Denny Ranks featuring Jawiz, Ambalik, Christine Alicia, Yishka. Also the new sensations on the rhythm: Seal, Danger Lee, Marquis Skellenard, Zachary. Available on all digital media outlets. The Juggling Rhythm. Get it, get it, get it.
The award-winning Palace Peace and Love Academic Scholarship is appealing for your support to help educate one student at a time in Jamaica and the Caribbean.
Palace awarded 492 scholarships and several computers to university and high school students in Jamaica and the Caribbean over the past 7 years, valued at approximately 33 million Jamaican dollars, $250,000 US.
Importantly, our university graduates to date include 15 medical doctors, 10 lawyers, 6 engineers, and 15 fine arts students. Our goal is to award at least 105 scholarships in 2018.
Please partner with us to make this a reality for those well-deserving, hard-working students by making a tax-deductible donation online at www.palace1.org
or send a check to Palace, P.O. Box 5461, Alpharetta, Georgia 30023 USA, or telephone 770-744-2154.
Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Hey Dad, how do you throw a curveball? How do you build a fort? How do refrigerators run? How do fish learn how to swim?
Kids ask a lot of questions.
How high can you jump?
But you don't have to know every answer.
How many phone numbers are there?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
How do cell phones work?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
What's electricity?
They just need you.
What's the moon made of?
For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin Stew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin Stew believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christine. It's a hot it up. Loud. Kill the beast.
Thought I could hide from you, but you see my scars and you see my flaws. You see everything I tried to do, Lord. I thought I could cover up my face, But behind this smile, I'm a broken child. You see, I've done some things I can't deny. Even though they say I'm a lost cause and there's no hope for me, He knows my heart. He knows my mind. May have done some wrong, but just trust my heart. When I sing this song, He knows my heart. He knows me. I used to watch all my siblings cry, but I had to stay strong while they carry on and speak with confidence and make sure my feelings high. Walk around with my chest all high. Hey, see, I even go to church and I get involved. I try to be that child that my mama them won't deny. Even though they say I'm a lost cause and there's no hope for me, He knows my heart. He knows my mind. May have done some wrong, but just trust my heart when I sing this song. He knows my heart. He knows my mind. Been misunderstood. They tried to count me out. They didn't know I could, but He knows my heart. He knows my mind. When you see me cry, know I've been through stuff, so don't ask me why, 'cause He knows my heart. He knows me.
I want to welcome you back to the show. This is son of Dale Brown and Truth. He knows. From the EP Bold Believer.
Even though they say I'm a lost cause and there's no hope for me, He knows my heart. He knows my mind. May have done some wrong, but just trust my heart when I sing this song. He knows my heart. He knows me.
So let me ask this question. How many of my friends out there, that's you guys, the listeners, have denied or defied the odds of being one of these statistics? Which statistics? Alright, let me go over some of them. And these may be a little bit different or in different order than what I had started. Now, poverty is the first category. And we're looking at this as consequences of fatherlessness. The National Center for Fathering put out these statistics. And they said children in father-absent homes are almost 4 times more likely to be poor. In 2011, 12% of children in married couple families were living in poverty compared to 44% of children in mother-only families. Children living in female-headed families with no spouse present had a poverty rate of 47.6%, over 4 times the rate in married couple homes. When it comes to drug and alcohol abuse, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services states fatherless children are at a dramatically greater risk of drug and alcohol abuse. There's significantly more drug use among children who do not live with their mother and father. But yet still, there are so many. Maybe that's why the pharmaceutical business in this country is so successful. What? Yeah, I said it. Physical and emotional health. A study of 1,977 children aged 3 and older living with a residential father or father figure found that children living with married biological parents had significantly fewer externalizing and internalizing behavior problems than children living with at least one non-biological parent. Children of single-parent homes are more than twice as likely to commit suicide. Maybe some of the parents of single-family homes have that same statistic. And yeah, I chuckle about it, but is it so far-fetched? The data from 3 waves of fragile families was used to examine the prevalence of effects of mothers relationship changes between birth and age 3 on their children's well-being. Children born to single mothers show higher levels of aggressive behavior than children born to married mothers. Living in a single mother household is equivalent to experiencing 5.2 partnership transitions. Wow. 5? That's kind of high. Children in grade 7 to grade 12 who have lived with at least one biological parent. Youth that experience divorce, separation, or non-union birth reported lower grade point averages than those who have always lived with both biological parents. Children living with their married biological father tested at a significantly higher level than those living with a non-biological father. Father involvement in schools is associated with a higher likelihood of a student getting mostly A's. This was true for fathers in biological parent families, for stepfathers, and for fathers heading single parent families. 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. Fatherless children have more trouble academically, scoring poorly on tests of reading, math, and thinking skills. Children from father-absent homes are more likely to be truant from school, more likely to be excluded from school, more likely to leave school at age 16, and less likely to attain academic and professional qualifications in adulthood. I know some children of fatherless homes that are quite successful. They're extremely successful just because they had a mother that was determined to see their child succeed. Or they had a mother that didn't keep them from their father. Or they had a mother that taught them about their father. I think those things play a role also. But of course, that's just my opinion. As it relates to crime, adolescents living in intact families are less likely to engage in delinquency than their peers living in non-intact families. Compared to peers in intact families, adolescents in single-parent families and step-families were more likely to engage in delinquency. The relationship appeared to be operating through differences in family processes, parental involvement, supervision, monitoring, and parent-child closeness between intact and non-intact families. A study using data from National Longitudinal Study of Adolescent Health explored the relationship between family structure and risk of violent acts in neighborhoods. The result revealed that if the number of fathers is low in a neighborhood, then there's an increase in acts of teen violence. The statistical data showed that a 1% increase in the proportion of a single-parent families in a neighborhood is associated with a 3% increase in an adolescent's level of violence. In other words, adolescents who live in neighborhoods with lower proportions of single-parent families and who report higher levels of family integration, they commit less acts of violence. Children aged 10 to 17 living with two biological or adoptive parents were significantly less likely to experience sexual assault, child maltreatment, and other types of major violence, and non-victimization type of adversity, and were less likely to witness violence in their families compared to peers living in single-parent families and step-families. A study of 109 juvenile offenders indicated that family structure significantly predicts delinquency. Sad. And quite dangerous too. A study using a sample of 1,409 rural southern adolescents, 851 females and 558 males, aged 11 to 18 years, investigated the correlation between father absence and self-reported sexual activity. The results revealed that adolescents in father-absent homes were more likely to report being sexually active compared to adolescents living with their fathers. And this is not just girls, but boys and girls. Being raised by a single mother raises the risk of teen pregnancy. Marrying with less than a high school degree and forming a marriage where both partners have less than a high school degree. That's just from living with your mother alone. Now, this makes me think, because that's just how my crooked mind works. Is it that it is the absence of the father? Or is it just the presence of the mother? Things that make you go, right? I'm not saying that it's because of the mothers why all these children have these rough times. I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, some of these mothers weren't that good to begin with. Or they themselves had rough childhoods because of whatever. So they end up being not so great mothers. Not downplaying the fact that the father is absent. And I'm pretty sure that as the researchers did their tests, that they took those things into consideration. But it was just something that came to mind. Just thought I'd put it out there. 17 minutes after the hour. This is the son of Errol Dunkley. A track called Created by the Father.
Look at the trees, how their leaves are going away in the sky. Listen to the birds, how they're singing away their time. Look at the sun, how it shines bright in the sky. Well, all these things were created by the Father. Look at the grass, how it makes your lawns look green. Look at the flowers, how it makes your garden look pretty. Even when you're feeling weary, tired and alone, well, all you gotta do is relax and make the cool wind blow. Listen to the birds, how they're singing away their time. Look at the sun, how it shines bright in the sky. Well, all these things were created by the Father. Look at the grass, how it makes your lawns look green. Look at the flowers, how it makes your garden look pretty.
You and me inside this moonlit room, and our hearts are making music while the angels sing and serenade. We can dance our way to heaven.
This is new music from Lady Tia.
I can give you what you came here for,
It's called Still Be Here.
but will you still be here tomorrow? Or will you love me and leave me low? Will you still be here tomorrow? Will you still be here tomorrow? You make me feel like we are amongst the stars, and this bed is a cloud in heaven. You lift me up so high, I don't wanna come down. Just wanna know where we are heading. I can give you what you really here for. I can give it to you, but will you still be here tomorrow? Or will you love me and leave me low? Will you still be here tomorrow? Will you still be here tomorrow? Will you still be here tomorrow? Will you still be here tomorrow?
wanna be somebody. Everybody wanna be somebody.
This is on a Damian Marley.
Look away, I want on the acre. Every man a done entertainer.
Everybody wants to be somebody, right?
Be somebody. Hollywood dreams get to Sonia, and so she pack up and fly out to California. Undressing, everybody wanna be somebody. Jump in a scuffle with a youngster that want to build him name up as a gangster. Don't test him. Everybody wanna be somebody. Who am I to defend or oppose this? Trade if that's what they must do just to be noticed. More blessing. Everybody wanna be somebody. More blessing. Everybody wanna be somebody. More blessings. Everybody wanna be somebody. Don't deny your youth the opportunity. Just because him come from a certain community. No, everybody wanna be somebody. You see the little woman where you have as helper. Give her everything and better you help her. Oh, everybody wanna be somebody. The big man will drive him car. The juvenile way I sell him this side. I'm saying everybody wanna be somebody. Who am I to defend or oppose this? Trade if that's what you must do just to be noticed. More blessing, everybody wanna be somebody. More blessing, everybody wanna be somebody. More blessing, everybody wanna be somebody. When you promise me love,
Kevin,
never
you-
to love to go. God bless me.
An extended musical therapy tonight. The son of Brian Hart. A track called No Malice. The segment is brought to you courtesy of JTMC Enterprise.
Meditate, got no hate for you, girl. It's love I'm feeling. Just give me time to elevate, renew my faith, baby girl, while you keep me waiting. Passion is so hard to get. You make me go shout away. When I really wanna get just intimate, yeah. Love is the only thing I need, girl. Silence is no malice, but your promise
is Bingy Blaze.
Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again.
The track is called One True Friend.
True friend, hey. A long time me mama did the one about them. Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend, hey. A long time the elders did the one about them. One multitude, a pure backstabber. Watch how you share your food, watch how you share your grabber. Them a working at the dark full time like robber. In a jam me put me trust and no other. In front of you them laugh, ha 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 ha. And behind your back them say murder, ah 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 ah. Thanks to revelation, praises to Jah. That one you not go no further. Just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey, a long time the mama did the one before them. Show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey, a long time the elders did the one before them. When the truth busts out, sometimes it hurt. Can't believe for the same one when me operate from birth. One thing, destroy me soul and kick me off of the earth. Me did hear and say a lie to blouse and skirt. When you have money, only for them come rate you. When you don't have no money, all your brother hate you. Them a complain about Judas, them a the same way too. That's why the general say him no trust him, him no certain. Times. Just show me who is who in these times. Just show me who is true in these times. Just show me who is who. Just show me just one true friend. So what happened yesterday cannot happen again. Show me just one true friend. Hey, a long time me mama did the one before them.
Still, all the enemies of Jah. And know that the Lord God the Almighty shall rule their enemies. Jah, Rastafari, I listen last the first. Oh, let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melted before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. Oh, let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God, yeah. Let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth on the heavens by his name. Jah, Rastafari, Haile Selassie the first. Our Father, strength and Redeemer, who lives and rules and reigns over all living things. A Father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God set up the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains. For the rebellious dwell in dry land. O God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie, Father, strength and Redeemer, when thou wentest forth before thy people. When thou did march through the wilderness, Selah, the earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. But even Shinar itself was moved at the presence of God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie the first, the God of Israel. Though, O God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie, Father.
This one is called the Silk Chant.
Whereby thou did confirm thine inheritance when it was weary.
I'm gonna play some tracks of this rhythm called the Kete Drum. I remember this one from back in the day.
Strength and Redeemer has prepared.
Do you?
Of thy goodness for the poor. The Lord God, Jah the Almighty.
Special tribute.
Redeemer gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it.
To a long-time friend of mine.
Flee apace.
You heard me talking about him last night. His life was snuffed out yesterday.
And among the pots, yet shall ye be as the.
He used to really like this rhythm.
Silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie, Father, strength and Redeemer, scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. The hill of God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie, Father, strength and Redeemer, is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan, by high hill. This is the hill which God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie, first desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, Father, strength and Redeemer, will dwell in.
Chant, we a go chant no matter what the people say. Chant, we a go chant the Rastafarian way. Chant, we a go chant no matter what the people.
From the late great Scott and Silk. This is Morgan Heritage.
Chant, we a go chant no matter what.
Chant, we a go chant, yeah.
Chant, we a go chant the Rastafarian way.
As we roll into the Wake Up and Live sponsored segment.
Chant, we a go chant King Selassie as they for it.
All being well, the Wake Up and Live show should be back tomorrow. It's out due to some technical issues.
Rolling of the first king of Israel, David BC. It also reminds us of the faith you have given, brother.
I pray all has been sorted out, Sir Rockwell.
It gives us strength and power that we chant of Selassie, Rastafari. Chant, we are go chant no matter what the people say.
I think Sir Rockwell borrowed some of Marlon's gremlins.
And we chant, we are go chant no matter what the people say. Chant, we are go chant King Selassie his name. Chant, we are go chant no matter what the people say. Chant, we are go chant the Rastafarian way. Chant, we are go chant no matter what the people say. Chant, we are go chant King Selassie his name.
Selassie lives and reigns and rules. How wonderful it is.
Peace, peace. While I'm violin, peace.
Sing along.
Oh, reggae music, please. Oh, so.
Get that jam, make me hear it sound.
Get that jam, make me one don't go.
Get that jam, make me hear it sound.
Shake it tambourine and make it go all frown.
Get that jam, make me hear it sound.
Them a go to feel move up Marley crown.
Get that jam, make me hear it rebound.
The music where we love.
This is the sound of the Determinant Beanie Man.
When the music hits, brother, you feel no pain.
No pain at all.
What all you do is verbalize your body and your heart, your mind.
This is how I close out the night shift week with musical therapy this week.
Man a chant, determine a chant. For the youth them down the lane, what they do.
I still have that new John Marie to play for you. Don't worry, it's coming.
So they do. Well, this is not a shame, it is not the same. Cause the youth them change, what they do. Them not read again and not take no thought in a reggae rule the youth them brain. So you me say,
get that jam, make me hear it sound.
Oh, if we get that jam and make we fun don't go.
Get that jam, make me hear it sound.
Shake it tambourine and make the vocal drum.
And again, get that jam, make me hear it sound.
And I go try move a Marley crown.
Get that jam, make me hear it rebound.
Let the music where we love and then stop you.
Now the mouse, sure. I answer the poor now achieve because my heart is like that bleed. Indeed. So take it from Rodney Price and the elder Rasta Junior. Imagine that.
By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down,
we sat and we await the king, you know.
And there we wait
from Zion.
When we remember Zion.
Check it, Malaya.
Father, we keep carry us away in captivity.
They take us but just could not break us because Emperor Selassie.
How can we sing King Alpha's song in a strange land?
Before them see God, them see the devil. That's why them life so miserable. But me sing again, it's Jah and not the devil. He made this world be comfortable. And the praise Vatican 24/7. Try know the man me build the earth and the heaven. He ma make the sun shine 7 to 7. Nice earthquake and storm where you're dangerous something. Lightning and thunder, clap make you frightened. Volcano and lava burn you out to nothing. Man, all the fight is brother to gain title. And war did start with Cain and Abel. When Cain took a knife right in him wrath on Abel. Now is the time to live as your disciple.
By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we wait.
Yes, Malaya.
When we remember Zion,
Babylon since
Father, we keep carry us away in captivity.
They take us but just go all. fall. Say not a more separation after all, because Babylon system must fall before them see God. Them see the devil. That's why them lives so miserable. But me sing and say it.
Seems like they have been wasted, eh? Bueno. Just goes on to show.
20 minutes before I get out of here.
I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the west. I know the east is the best. All
The countdown continues
will have to confess. Oh, I'm in bondage.
for the release of Mr. Mark Myrie, aka Bojo.
No longer will I expose my weakness. Ego's acknowledge begins with humbleness. Work 7 to 7, yet me still penniless. For the food up on me table, master, God bless. All of the needy and shelterless. Ethiopia await all prince and princess. Till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the West. I know the East is the best. Yes, propaganda then spread. Tongues will have to confess. What could have been about the East? Everybody want a piece. Africa free Africans, mark out Messiah speak. Unification out on the feet. What are them when we walking down Redemption Street? Man up our head, why be in a hand one and all? Make we try the promised land. Would you go down the Congo, stop in a Shashamane land? The city of Ferraris where Selassie come from. In Addis Ababa, then Botswana. Left Kenya, I end up in a Ghana. Oh, what a beauty, my eyesight behold. Holy Ethiopia, protect me from the cold. Till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no life in the West. I know the East is the best. All the propaganda can spread. Tongues will have to confess. Organize and centralize. Come as one. Overseas shall be so many more than sand. Some new one replenish. Pure and clean and for too long we been under this man. Some are save a bag of riches and them empty hand. Why some is stupid and not found you can. Easier for a camel to enter through an eagle line than it is for a rich guy to enter in a Zion. Take it from Iman. So till I'm laid to rest. Yes, always be depressed. There's no living in the West. I know the East is the best. Lord, propaganda can spread. Tongues will have to confess.
I never cease to praise him, even though my bills are way overdue. I never cease to praise him, even though I don't know what I'm gonna do. And even when I find my back against the wall with nowhere to turn, I'll lift my head up high and
This is the sound of Tamara Brown. With husband AJ Brown doing supporting vocals. I thank you, Jah.
Even when I get lost, you are always there to show me the way. At times my way I don't know, so I get on my knees and I pray. And ask you for the guidance, 'cause on your solid rock is where I will stand. So I know you got me covered. Thank you, Stormy seasons.
I always feel like there's a rope around my neck, even though the wicked hasn't pulled it yet. Seems their goal is every minute we must regret. With our every move we have to sweat and fret. After all these years where you plan to get, 'cause we're still alive.
This is the sound of Kashif Lindo.
We still survive.
The track is called Freedom.
Join with me, black people, non-stop chant till we put something here from freedom. Freedom from their wickedness. Freedom from what make them so obsessed. Freedom from their false arrest.
fight your stress. Time you let us be. We want to be free from you and your atrocities. Come make we chant them down till we bust up them eardrums. Shout it down, freedom from the wicked starvation. Freedom from brutalization. Freedom from the plastic system. Freedom from religion. Want to be free from discrimination. Want to be free from oppression. Want to be free from killing season of the black man. Want to be free from the pollution. Don't tell me you're that uncivilized, that you can't recognize human lives till you maximize and utilize one of the wickedest
downtown, enough trenches everywhere you look and everywhere you turn. Zinc fences. Kids don't know better. Play trendsetter. They never know that they could have been doctor or grow up to be the finest actor.
The son of Barris Hammond.
Never created no structure.
The introduction to Downtown.
He's the one deeper underground. Yeah, 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 yeah. We never see a politician when we want to. Can't even get you on the phone to talk to. After we regulate the thing and support you. Don't tell me that this is what it boils down to. You should have lived in the era that what you should do. Suffer everything where everybody go through. Curfew, hold a fresh in the canal too. Yeah, and see how well you can do. Yeah, 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 boy. Nobody is safe or sound when night falls. Everywhere you look and everywhere you turn, streets empty. Every house is saying a prayer. Tomorrow will be better. Where the kids can go out in the park and they can play until dark comes. No need to worry because they know they're not alone. Don't need security to take them home. This is just a glimpse of what downtown goes through. Tell me now, what can you do? Oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Looking to the ceiling, screaming, not dreaming. What a feeling! It is me that I'm feeling. She said she wanna come and link me for the night shift. Give me your one away, so we not the private.
I want to thank you all for linking me right here on the night shift.
Well, all night, come and kill me with the nice knees. Say she want
This is on a Red Fox.
the night shift. When I little tip it was I said she like it. It's alright. She said she want to wine and go down all night, straight till the morning come. She want come check me 'cause it's Simon she right. Sick and tired of those little lame guys. No one know what the man of me alone. She says straight, real champion. She want to tear down me gate. She hearing a discussion now the double dance great. Reputation all through the United States. Real heavy duty, no one no lightweight. That's why she choose me and not negotiate. She love off my style, she love off my frame. Me up a blood up while me a get to her brain. She says she want me balance, out me name. She want a piece like that. I could be your man.
You could be my lover.
I'll love you through the night.
So let me get under the covers.
And in the morning when the cock-a-doodle wakes you up,
And then I turn it, flip it over, and you beat it up.
and then I put a little milk into your coffee cup.
And then I scramble you some eggs, and then you eat it up.
I push your button and I ride you like an
Son of Jimmy Cozier
And I'm calling for the operator.
I'm Jimmy Cozier,
and Melissa Music.
assassinator.
And you be killing me right now, I need the respirator.
Melissa Music. You could be my lover. Yes,
I'll
I.
love you through the night.
So make we get under the covers.
And
And I'll be your DJ.
do the
you up.
Then I turn it, flip it over, and you beat it up.
And then I put a little
How about bounce on out of here?
And then you eat it up.
When you get this love, when I'm done with you, you don't want no other.
But of course I can't do it without
I make you twist, and a bubble on the rubber dubber.
playing certain tunes.
Now I can be your man.
You could be my lover.
Said I love you through the night.
So make we get under the cover.
This is real therapy.
And in the morning when the cock-a-doodle wakes you up.
Then I flip it, turn it over, and you beat it up.
And then I put a little milk into your coffee cup.
Let me scramble it some eggs, and then you eat it up.
Yeah, this is one of those tunes. Let's see if I can make someone happy tonight. Causing a little bit of trouble. Just a little bit. Told you. Therapy.
We're gonna lay it on right on early, cause the heat is on, yeah. And I know that you're ready. Let us lay it on now that we are moving in the groove. I miss a hush, darling. Even if it hurts to cry, hush, darling. Hush, 'cause I'm not gonna tell you why. Hush, darling. Hush, 'cause after the storm there'll be a calm, yeah. And I will keep you warm, darling. Hey baby, yeah. I love when you're next to me.
This is the sound of Zapow.
You and me.
Because you and I, we're so compatible.
Cause we're compatible. And eye to eye. That's how Maybe that's the way love's supposed to be. I'm always there for you. You're always there for me. And between us two, it's love and harmony.
The big man himself has run a track called So in Love.
It's been a while I've seen you smile.
How long has it been, Hezron?
Makes me wonder what's been on your mind. It's been a while, it took some time, yeah, to like we used to chill and play for a while. Maybe I've been a little occupied. To keep you smiling, babe, I gotta hustle over time. Now it seems to me you wanna ask me if my love is true. Just in case you are wondering, make no mistakes about my feelings for you. And I'm so in love with you. Yes, I'm so. All I do for you. Everything I do, I'm so in love with you. Baby, I swear this is the truth. All I do for you. Maybe I could spend more time with you, babe. Maybe I could have told you more times that I do, babe. Maybe I could again kiss you more, yeah, just to show you my love for you is secure. Baby, I'd walk 100,000 miles, babe, just to keep you happy and satisfied, baby. Whoa, now it seems to me you wanna ask me if I still do, yeah. Just in case you were wondering, made no mistakes about my feelings, baby. I'm so in love with you, and this way I feel. I do for you. Say I'm so in love with you. Baby, this is the truth. All I do for you, baby.
This is how I'm gonna bounce out of here tonight. I want to wish all the fathers a very happy Father's Day when it rolls around on Sunday. And just know I'll be back with you on Monday, sorry. For all the fathers giving that extraordinary love and the ones receiving it. I come back and join you all on Monday. But remember, look out for someone this weekend, tomorrow, right now. Someone in your community, and your community is not just development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, these are all members of your community. Do something nice for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something nice for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, and with you. Happens every Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 to midnight. This is on the Jonah Marie. Her rendition of Ordinary Love. she knows it in Espanol too. I'm out of here, y'all. Please be good. But remember, if you can't be good at it. I'm out.
Lo que creí, me dijeron, amor estando duraría, no te lo di, lo que tenía, baby. Si el amor que tenía, di lo que debía darte, di amor.
The moment is priceless. Consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulseemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.